Madam President,
Senator from Michigan.
first of all, I have to say, wouldn't you know I get laryngitis, right? And for somebody who's in elected office, we know that that's not a good thing. So please bear with me. And I want to thank Chuck so much for his comments this morning and for being a dear friend. Today is bittersweet for me, standing here on the floor of the United States Senate, making my last speech, my last major speech. So many of my staff from Michigan have traveled to be here, as well as staff members who have worked for me in DC over the years. I am truly overwhelmed that over 100 Michigan and DC staff are here in the gallery and on the floor. And family and friends who are not able to fly in today are watching on C-SPAN. As we come back for Thanksgiving, I am filled with so much gratitude and respect as I think back over my years of public service. And I'm thinking about the incredible number of people who have supported me and contributed in so many ways to my success. From my family, my staff, my colleagues, and of course, the people of Michigan who've put their trust in me for over 50 years. I started when I was 5. From Ingham County Commissioner to state legislator to US Senator. Michigan, you will always be in my heart. Today is about recognizing all of you. As some of you know, I lost my mom just a week ago. I suspect she's tuning in from heaven's version of C-SPAN right now, watching me, listening, just as she has always been watching and supporting me my whole life. Mom not only lived a long life, 98 years of age, but a rich and meaningful one. Her hard work, her kindness, her strength, and her loyalty were a true gift to me, to my brothers, my children, my whole family. They're always unsung heroes of every story, and I want to start with mine, and that is my family. My son Todd, my daughter Michelle, my daughter-in-law Sarah, my son-in-law Scott, and my 5 incredibly talented and amazing grandchildren. They are the most talented grandchildren we've ever seen. Ari, Willow, Avery, Everett, and Violet. My mom and my kids have all appeared in many campaign ads over the years. Even my brothers, Len and Lee, starred in an acclaimed closing ad that caused me to beat an incumbent Republican to first be elected to the United States House. When my kids were young, they too broke down barriers. Todd was born when I was a county commissioner. Michelle was born when I was a state representative. It was a first in Michigan for a legislator to be pregnant and have a baby while in office. I remember a very pregnant me opening baby shower gifts in one of our state house committee rooms. Most of my male colleagues didn't know what to buy for a baby shower, so I got a lot of stuffed animals. My family members have marched in countless parades, attended thousands of events with me, and planned birthday parties and holidays around the legislative calendar. They've sacrificed their time and in many cases their personal privacy, and through thick and thin have always been there for me, and I am incredibly grateful. And I love you all so much. My family story has inspired my work as an elected official. I grew up in Clare, Michigan, where my mom was director of nursing at our small rural hospital. This sparked my lifelong interest in healthcare. As a 24-year-old grad student at Michigan State University, I led an effort to save Ingham County's medical care facility from closure. It was the only nursing home that served low-income seniors at the time. I'd never been involved in politics before, but I knew it was wrong to close that facility. We stopped the Ingham County Board of Commissioners from closing this critical service. And I was encouraged to run for county commission because I lived in the district of the commissioner who tried to close the nursing home. I ran against him. He called me that young broad, and the young broad beat him. And as they say, the rest is history. Healthcare remained a top priority for me from those early days to today. Today, I'm proud and grateful that more people in America have access to home health care, to hospice services, and lower prescription drug prices, in part because of my work. Medicare and Medicaid and community health centers provide stronger foundations for care for millions of Americans. I was a new member of the Senate Finance Committee when President Obama made healthcare reform his top priority. I was excited to be involved in every part of passing the Affordable Care Act, making sure that maternity care and mental health services and addiction treatment were all part of the new law. I spent a tremendous amount of time focused on the affordability of the new healthcare system and was successful in bringing down the amount that individuals would have to pay for coverage. I considered it a badge of honor during the final vote in committee when then Chairman Baucus turned to me and said, "Here we have Senator Affordability." My first viral moment as an elected official on social media happened during the debate on the Affordable Care Act. And my great friend Amy Klobuchar has often told this story. When Senator Kyle from Arizona argued against including maternity care as basic coverage by stating that he did not need maternity care, I told him, "Yes, but I bet your mom did." The public outcry that happened after that ensured to this day that maternity care is part of the Affordable Care Act. There has been no healthcare issue more profoundly influenced by my own family's life and experience than the issue of mental health. My father had a bipolar disorder that went undiagnosed for many years, like so many people. Our lives were changed when the drug lithium became available, and my dad had the support he needed to manage his disease and move forward with his life. I saw what happened when someone did not get the help they needed, and I saw what happened when they did. This experience fueled my passion to reduce the stigma on mental health and mental illness, and as I've often said, we need to treat healthcare above the neck the same as healthcare below the neck. I worked on this issue in the early days of my career chairing the Mental Health Committee in the Michigan House of Representatives. Later, I was honored to team up with Senator Roy Blunt for a 10-year effort to transform how we fund mental health and addiction services. This has been my passion and my most meaningful achievement. On the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy signing the Community Mental Health Bill, the last bill he signed before his death, Senator Blunt and I introduced and spoke here on the Senate floor about our new legislation, the Excellence in Mental Health and Addiction Treatment Act. President Kennedy envisioned a world where people wouldn't be housed in asylums, as they were called at the time, but would get the treatment and the care they needed in their community. The first part of his vision was implemented over the past 50 years. Mental hospitals closed. But the second half of it, creating comprehensive community care, never happened. Senator Blunt and I worked intensely over the past 10 years to make the second half of President Kennedy's vision a reality by creating comprehensive community behavioral health clinics, or CCBHCs, where clinics are funded as healthcare, not just through grants that stop and start. Now, because of our bipartisan efforts, culminating in full funding in the Safer Communities Act, we are in the midst of creating comprehensive community-based care across the country. And I thank you, all of you, for your help so many people here for your leadership and help in making that happen. We now have more than 500 community behavioral health clinics providing care across the country, with more being created every day. Millions of people now have the dignity of receiving mental health care and addiction treatment in their community, instead of sitting in an emergency room or in a jail or sleeping on the street. The goal, of course, is to have every community in every state provide these critical healthcare services. I intend to continue to do everything I can to support your efforts to make sure this transformation is completed. I am forever grateful to the people of Michigan for the trust they have shown in me over these years. I've lived in Michigan my whole life, and I've viewed the work in DC as a commute to work, long distance commute to work. Not as long as the West Coast, but a commute to work. I see everything through the eyes of Michiganders in our beautiful state. Our Great Lakes and our water are part of our Michigan DNA. Protecting our water has been my passion, from passing my very first bill in the Senate, which bans oil and gas drilling in the Great Lakes, to authoring the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative. This landmark initiative has helped transform the health of our lakes and watersheds, and will continue to do so in the future. Looking through the lens of Michigan again, I've understood that we don't have a strong economy unless somebody makes something and somebody grows something. For this reason, I've been a member of the Agriculture Committee at every level of government where I've served, both state and federal. And I've been deeply involved in efforts to protect and expand American manufacturing, including the new clean energy revolution occurring in our country. It has been my privilege to put my stamp on our nation's farm and food policy. I have frequently said that you can see Michigan on every page of the farm bills I've written. As the author of the specialty crop title in the Farm Bill, I'm grateful that the full diversity of farms, small and large, are now reflected in our funding, in our agricultural policy. I'm so pleased that families across our country have access to healthy, locally grown foods through farmers markets and urban agriculture, and our children can count on permanent funding for summer meals and other critical food assistance. I like to say that I stood up every day to fight for Michigan. And there's no truer statement than my work on behalf of Michigan workers and Michigan manufacturing. I'm so proud to have championed the auto rescue in 2009, to change tax incentives to invest and make things in America, and toughen our laws to support American manufacturing. I know we have the best workers in the world. And I know also that Michigan manufacturing is well positioned to prosper in the future. I want to take a moment, of course, to thank all of you. All of my great, great colleagues on both sides of the aisle, both past and present. So many of you have been wonderful partners in getting things done. And I'm so grateful for your friendship. I'm especially grateful for my Michigan partners. First, the amazing Carl Levin. And now my dear friend, Gary Peters. I like to say we're the 1-2 punch for Michigan. As we all know, to be effective, it's not necessary to agree with someone on everything. In fact, I don't agree with anybody on everything. It's only necessary to agree on one thing, one problem that needs to be solved, and then agree on the way to solve the one thing. Then we look for another colleague across the aisle to work with on one thing. That's how positive change happens. We all realize, with all the incredible demands on our time and the constant additions and changes to our schedules, it's hard to find time to get to know each other on a personal level. Over the years, I've been so grateful for the bipartisan women senators' dinners, the international travel that we have that is so important. And playing Christmas carols on the piano at the Senate prayer breakfast is something I have thoroughly enjoyed. Exchanging stories about our families, our faith, our personal challenges have made a real difference. It has been a great honor for me to serve as a member of Senate Democratic leadership since 2005. I want to recognize Democratic leaders Tom Daschle and our dear Harry Reid, who were so supportive of me. I want to thank my great friend, Senator Chuck Schumer, and his extraordinary team. Chuck loves the United States Senate, and he loves our country with every bone in his body. And I'm so appreciative of his leadership and tireless work and friendship. When I announced my retirement nearly 2 years ago, I said I was ready to pass the torch to a new generation of leaders. And I couldn't be prouder to pass the torch to Michigan's new Senator-elect Elissa Slotkin. I know she will have the heart and the talent for this job and will do great things for our state and our country. I've thought long and hard about how to express my gratitude to the smartest, hardworking staff that I could ever have imagined. Truly, my success comes from their amazing efforts. Over 500 bright, talented professional staff have worked for me over the past 50 years. That's unbelievable. Many of them for decades, and that doesn't include countless volunteers and interns. I want you to know that interns are everywhere. The staff are everywhere. I want you to know how moved I am that so many of you took time to be here today or tuning in on C-SPAN. You are much more than employees, you are family. I've watched many of you get married several times thanks to our office and watched our children grow up, your children grow up as well. You are truly my dear friends. You have raised the bar for the kind of service the people of Michigan should expect from their elected officials. You have been there for me personally through the best of times and through the rough patches as well. You have cared and persisted, and together we have achieved so much, whether it's policy changes or helping literally millions of Michiganders cut through the bureaucracy and solve a personal problem. I salute each and every one of you, and I thank you for your service to Michigan and our nation. I'm passing the torch to you because I know you will continue to care about people and public service and do great things. I could not have done this without you. As I close, I want to acknowledge the important moment that we are in as a country. We all know there's great division, promoted by so many who want to gain their own power at America's expense. Yet we have so much in common. We all love our children and want the same things for them to be successful. We all want safe communities and a chance to be rewarded for our hard work. We can heal the divide and work together if we just look for that one thing that we can agree on to make our lives better and get it done. And then we can look again for that one thing. If we don't let the haters divide us, we can rebuild trust with one another and be the America we want to be. This is my hope and my prayer for all of us. As I begin this next chapter in my life, my heart is truly filled with gratitude. To my family, my colleagues, my staff, to the great people of Michigan. Thank you one and all from the bottom of my heart. It's been an honor to serve you. Thank you.